There is a custody battle playing out in court right now involving Taylor Frankie Paul from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and what started as one protective order has now turned into dueling accusations and a legal mess that keeps getting more complicated. If you have been following this story, you know it has been difficult to watch. And if you are just catching up, there is a lot to unpack here because this situation involves their 2-year-old son, competing claims of abuse, and court decisions that are affecting Taylor's ability to see her child. Let me walk you through what has happened, what the court has decided so far, and where things stand right now, because this is not a simple story. There are serious allegations on both sides, and the legal system is trying to sort through all of it, while a child is caught in the middle. So here is the timeline. Last month, Dakota Mortensen, who is Taylor's on and off partner and the father of her youngest son, filed for a protective order against her. That was the first major development in what has become a very public legal battle. According to the filing, Dakota claimed that Taylor posed a danger to him and potentially to their son. The exact details of what he alleged were not made fully public at the time, but it was serious enough that a judge agreed to hear the case and consider whether a protective order was warranted. Then, just this past Tuesday, the court made a significant ruling. Taylor Frankie Paul is now only allowed to have supervised visits with her 2-year-old son. That means she cannot be alone with him. Anytime she spends with the child has to happen with a third party present, watching to make sure everything is safe. For a mother, that is a devastating restriction, and the court did not make that decision lightly. According to reports, the judge made it clear that there are concerns on both sides of this case. But one of the main factors that led to this ruling was Taylor's past behavior during conflicts with Dakota, particularly when her children were present. The court looked at the history between these two, and based on what they saw, they decided that for now, the safest arrangement is supervised visitation. This is not a permanent decision. It is a temporary order while the court continues to investigate and gather more information. There will be another hearing later this month where the judge will revisit the custody situation and decide what happens next. Now, it is important to note that this ruling only affects Taylor's youngest son, the one she shares with Dakota. She still has regular custody of her 2 older children that she shares with her ex-husband, Tate Paul. So it is not that the court is questioning her ability to parent in general. The concern is specific to the relationship between Taylor and Dakota and the environment that their son has been exposed to when they are together. But the story does not end there. On that same Tuesday, Taylor filed her own protective order against Dakota. So now you have 2 protective orders filed against each other within a very short time frame. In her filing, Taylor made some serious accusations. She claims that Dakota has shown a pattern of abusive conduct and coercive control. Those are strong legal terms, and they carry a lot of weight in court. She is not just saying they had arguments. She is alleging that there was a pattern of behavior designed to manipulate and control her. Taylor also accused Dakota of multiple incidents of violence. In her filing, she described at least one situation where she says he physically hurt her during a fight. And she did not just make these claims without any supporting evidence. According to court documents, she included text messages and photos of injuries as part of her filing. She is asking the court to grant a protective order, not just for herself, but also for their 2-year-old son. She wants legal protection in place to keep Dakota away from both of them. So now you have a situation where both parents are accusing each other of being dangerous. Both of them are saying the other one is the problem. And somewhere in the middle of all of this is a 2-year-old child who is too young to understand what is happening, but is absolutely being affected by it. That is why the court is moving so carefully right now. When you have competing accusations like this, the judge cannot just take one person's word over the other. They have to investigate. They have to look at the evidence. They have to figure out what is actually true and what the safest arrangement is for the child. According to reports, there are ongoing police investigations looking into incidents on both sides. That means law enforcement is involved, not just family court. They are examining the claims that Taylor has made against Dakota, and they are also examining the claims that Dakota has made against Taylor. Until those investigations are complete, the court is not going to make any permanent decisions about custody. That is why this temporary order is in place. It is a way of protecting the child while everyone tries to figure out what really happened. Now, if you have been following Taylor's story, you know that this legal situation has already had major consequences for her career. She was supposed to be the next Bachelorette. That entire season got canceled. She was also supposed to appear on the upcoming season of Vanderpump Villa, But Dakota is being edited out of that show entirely. So the production companies behind these reality TV shows are clearly taking this situation seriously. They are not waiting for the court to make a final decision. They are distancing themselves. Now, as for The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which is the show that made Taylor famous in the first place, the status of that production has been up in the air. According to TMZ, multiple sources say that the cast's understanding is that production on the Hulu series will resume in a matter of weeks. There has been a push from the cast to get filming started again, because delayed production could mess up their summer plans. And apparently, the cast's concerns about the domestic violence investigation have been resolved enough that they feel comfortable moving forward. But here is the big question. What does that mean for Taylor and Dakota? Are they still going to be part of the show? Dakota has already been edited out of one reality show. Taylor had an entire Bachelorette season canceled. If they do stay on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, there is going to be backlash. People are going to question whether it is appropriate to keep filming them while they are in the middle of a legal battle involving allegations of abuse and a custody fight over a toddler. My guess is that production is waiting to see what happens in court before they make any final decisions. These court hearings are happening this month. Once the judge makes a more permanent ruling on custody and once the protective order cases are resolved, then the production company will probably have a clearer picture of whether Taylor and Dakota can continue to be part of the show or if they need to be written out. It is also worth mentioning that Taylor has been going through some other major life changes recently. On Easter Sunday, she announced that she was leaving the LDS Church. Now, I have to admit, I was a little surprised by this announcement because I thought she had already left the church back during the whole swinging scandal in season 1. But apparently, she was still affiliated with it in some way, or at least still navigating her relationship with it. In her Instagram post, she talked about being born and raised Mormon and said she will always have love and respect for the church. She even said she will continue to go with her family sometimes, but she is officially detaching herself from it. She wrote that she strongly believes in Christ, God, the Bible, and the divine, but she does not believe you have to be in a church building to have that relationship. She talked about experiencing grace and love from people who are not religious at all, and she said there is more out there to learn. I bring this up because it shows you how much Taylor's life is in flux right now. She is leaving the church she was raised in, she is fighting for custody of her son, she is dealing with a protective order. She had a reality TV show canceled. Her entire world seems to be shifting all at once, and none of it is happening quietly because she is a public figure and everything is playing out in front of an audience. The other cast members from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives have been pretty supportive of her, at least publicly. Jessie, who is going through her own divorce from Jordan, commented on Taylor's Instagram post about leaving the church and said, "I love you. You're the strongest person I know." So it seems like at least some of the women from the show are standing by her, even as all of this unfolds. But the legal situation is what really matters right now. The court hearing later this month is going to be critical. That is when the judge will decide whether the supervised visitation continues, whether it gets loosened, or whether it gets tightened even further. That is also when the judge will have to weigh the competing protective orders and decide if either one of them should be granted on a more permanent basis. Here is the thing about cases like this. When you have two people accusing each other of abuse, it is incredibly hard to figure out the truth, especially when it all happened behind closed doors. The court has to look at whatever evidence exists: text messages, photos, police reports, witness statements if there are any. But a lot of what happens in a relationship, especially the emotional and psychological aspects, does not leave a paper trail. So the judge is going to have to make the best decision they can based on incomplete information, and their primary concern is going to be the safety of the child. I cannot tell you what the outcome is going to be because I do not know. Nobody outside of that courtroom knows what evidence has been presented or how strong the case is on either side. But what I can tell you is that this situation is serious, it is sad, and it is a reminder that reality TV shows us a lot, but they do not show us everything. We saw Taylor and Dakota's relationship play out on screen, but we did not see whatever led to this point. We did not see the fights, the private moments, the things that were too painful or too volatile to make it into an edited episode. And now, a 2-year-old child is in the middle of a custody battle, and two people who used to be together are standing in court accusing each other of being dangerous. That is not entertaining. That is just heartbreaking. The next few weeks are going to tell us a lot. The court hearing will give us more information, the police investigations will hopefully reach some conclusions, and we will find out whether Taylor and Dakota are still part of the secret lives of Mormon wives, or if this chapter of their lives is going to play out off camera. For now, all we can do is wait and hope that whatever happens, the decisions that get made are in the best interest of that little boy. Because at the end of the day, he is the one who matters most in all of this. If you have been following this story, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if this is the first you are hearing about it, let me know what questions you have. I will keep you updated as more information comes out. Thanks for watching.